Hi everyone. Today I wanted to talk to you about my bullet journal, but here are my doggies. This is Jasper. I talked to you about him in my last video. I can't remember whether I showed you him, but here he is. Ah, and there's Daisy. I've showed you her before. We've had Jasper 2 months-ish, 9 weeks. Oh, I can't remember. But it feels like we've had him forever, and he fits in so well, and he's such a good boy, and he's so more settled into the family than Daisy was at the same stage. Once we got her, so at the 2 month stage, he's so good with the cats, although sometimes he is still treating them like he can run after them, and when he gets a bit too excited and silly, he does snap at them, so we don't leave them alone with him much. And we have just started letting him off the lead at the park, and he's being a very good boy, aren't you, Jasper? Yeah. So, yeah, and he's very tired because he's been for 2 long walks, and he might have a little bit of a sore leg. So he's resting, but this is his favourite place, his bed, although that isn't his bed. He's gone in Daisy's bed. So Daisy is relegated to the floor, although she could sleep in Jasper's bed, but no. So I thought we'd sit here with the dogs because Jasper likes humans to stay close while he's resting, which is 3/4 of the day. But we can't rest with him all that time, so the evenings are his time to spend with us. So, right, bullet journal. Hello, Daisy. Apologies for the angle. It zooms in when I'm filming a video, so I have to hold it up, and I still need to see through the camera, so hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm showing you. So my bullet journal is half a notebook, so I cut the notebook in half, I rebound it, and I put it inside a Filofax Flex. And the Flex is great, but I'd like to make a leather version because I do leather work, and that's one of the things that I would like to do. It's holding up really well. My pink one, which is made from a different type of faux leather, is all cracking and everything, but this is holding up really well. But I would like to make a leather version, even if it's not for this book, if it's for one of my other ongoing notebooks. So basically I did a video on how I made the predecessor to this bullet journal by cutting along one of the divides between 2 signatures in the big fat paper chase notebook, cut it in half so it makes 2 reasonably sized slim notebooks. Well, this isn't, really slim. It's the same thickness as like a Moleskine, but much more manageable. And then I made thick covers because obviously at that point you'd only have one side having a cover. And then I put some scrapbooking paper on it as well for decoration. This one I put sticky back plastic over it to protect it, although I don't like that because it's just got stuff stuck under it. And leather binding, which is basically just holding the covers of the notebook together. But that means that it relies on the fly leaves at the front and the back to hold the notebook together, and when the fly leaves fail, so does the binding of the notebook. But it's fine because it is held in by the fact that the leather is stuck to the back cover and the front cover, and the fly leaf on the back has survived because, oh god, there's my phone number. Sorry, don't phone me, please. Sorry. Oh my god, I was supposed to cover that up. So the binding on the back has survived because it doesn't have sort of a it's not pulled as you open the cover, because it's underneath the the flex binding, but then you can see the binding of the notebook, and also how I've reinforced the front signatures with some extra thread to reinforce them. So this bullet journal is minimalistic, like the original bullet journal by Ryder Carroll, that sort of black pen dot grid notebook style. And that's one of the things I want to discuss in this notebook, in this video. I might make it into the second part of the video, but I wanted to give you a tour of my bullet journal. Now, I had said in my previous video that I would be doing a one book August, like one book July, but for August, and I never actually did it. And I think part of it is that I need to change how I'm bullet journaling, not necessarily the system or anything, but make it more interesting for myself, and I'll talk about that. But I thought, seeing as how I'm probably not going to be doing one book September because it's already September the 7th, and it would have been nice to start at the beginning of the month as I intended to, and I didn't, then I would make a video to show you what my bullet journal is like at the moment before I possibly change it. So this is my index, and I based it off the idea from Romany's Realm that I don't need to do a linear index like in the bullet journal book. I can do topics. So the reference section I know won't grow very big, so I gave it its own specific box with finite space because I know I don't need that many lines for it. Planning is kind of like collections, but obviously you've got a lot more collections in a bullet journal than just one category. But because this is my planner, I have a lot of collections relating to making sure I plan my time well. And miscellaneous is kind of anything that doesn't fit in either of these two categories. And I've got a lot of space for other things, but obviously I'm not actually writing that much stuff down outside of those categories. As you can see, I've only got 4 other collections that don't fit into those two categories. Here's my key. It's the same as last time. I can't remember if I told you last time that I have a key for waiting for, which is just an envelope, and it takes up 2 boxes. Excuse me while I tell Daisy off for obsessively licking her leg. No, she stopped. So as you will see in my daily spreads, I usually have actually 3 symbols, one followed by the other. So this one followed by that one, followed by this one, and it's so a checkbox followed by whether something it has to be done today, in the future, I need to transfer it to a collection or transfer it out into another book. And then the key, the bullet, i.e. bullet journaling, usually takes up 1 square space, but waiting for takes up 2 because I don't have to have one of these symbols, but I would have a checkbox to mark that is completed. I'm no longer waiting for it. At the beginning of my book, I wanted to do a yearly planning spread. I can't remember what it's called, but I forgot to do it when I'd started my first, I guess maybe it was this page. So I had to tip it in, which is fine. And I really like this. I've taken this from a few different people's videos, but this was great up until my rota got really complicated. But basically I use a little symbol to represent whatever I need to depict as happening: annual leave, incoming and outgoing money. The yellow numbers are what page the bullet journal daily page for that particular time period is. So, for example, this was a period when I must have written a lot, because the 15th to the 17th of February is across a relatively few amount of days is across one page, and then here's where the next page begins. Yeah, just other stuff. It's basically little bullets to signify something that's happening, and I either refer down to here, refer to the next page, or refer to the actual daily page. So the next page is explaining what those events are. So I just, say there's the let's pick one. 9th of March, which was annual leave because I coloured it in pink. 9th of March, if I skim down here, would have been my dog had a checkup at the vet's. So then I don't have to look at this to know that something's happening, because it's all out of order. I look at that and then I can move that into my weekly pages, which I'll talk about, or weekly page. So I don't have to constantly be looking what's happening next on this page. It's too disorganised, so I have it all at a glance in a linear fashion on this page. So here are some things that were cancelled because of COVID, like theatre and concerts and stuff, and so I've moved them over to here for 2021, but we'll see if they ever happen with COVID still happening at the moment, and probably into next year as well. And then we've got a pull-out list of recurring tasks, and then this is, it looks rubbish. Underneath, I don't know if I've shown you this before, underneath, basically, if you say that you need to do a recurring task once a month, then you want to make sure that you do it every 4 weeks. It sort of throws you off when a month has 5 or even 6 weeks on a monthly spread, because sometimes, you get the odd couple of days down here if you can fit 6 weeks onto a monthly spread. I personally chuck them up here into the gap. I'll explain it in a minute, you'll see. So basically I say, okay, so the first week, or it's not the first week of the month, but basically, I keep saying basically, sorry, the beginning of the year, or beginning of a new yearly spread. I call it week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, back to week 1, 2, 3, 4, back to week 1, etc. So then I know, if I know that this week is week 1, I know that on Monday I've got this to do, and Tuesday I've got nothing on a recurring task, and Wednesday I've got that, and then the weekend, because this was my rota over the summer, which actually kind of still is my rota. Those were my weekend days, so I had more to do. Underneath, where I've got my old one, when I worked Monday to Friday 9 to 5, I had a lot more, and this worked well for me. It told me what I needed to do when I needed to do it, and made sure that I got those tasks done on a recurring basis. So that was how I did it with designating whether it on the yearly page, whether week is 1, 2, 3, or 4, and making sure that even if it was something that I did bi-weekly, it always got done. But I never really have any tasks that need to be done less frequently than every 4 weeks. Like, obviously there are some things that are happening every 6 months or something, but I don't really have to put them onto this. I would put them onto my year planner. So that worked well before COVID happened, but COVID has scrambled my routine in my life. It's kind of got me a bit all up in the air, so I haven't really been using this for the past 5 months, which is disappointing because it was working well. And then so this is like a standard average daily spread, because it's not, just for one day, it's for several days, but I can't remember what else to call it. Ryder calls it something in the bullet journal book, but yeah, this is where I put stuff for each day. I didn't use a weekly spread at this point, and I didn't feel very organised when I wasn't using a weekly spread. But basically, I draw the checkbox, I draw the indicator for when it needs to be done or where it needs to go, and then my symbol. So the only other symbols in this particular spread than the to-do symbol, which is the asterisk, is this diamond, which means that it's a recording, an important event. Oh, and a list symbol. And then I have a column on the right-hand side to indicate where things might need to go or when things might need to happen. So if I write on here that it needs to happen in the future, that doesn't tell me the urgency for it. I mean, it's something that I won't get done today, but I do need to do it as soon as possible. So this tells me when to do it. The column for little tiny notes like that. This list, where does this list need to go? My shopping list. And then when I'm scheduling something for the future, when does it need to happen? The weekend. I didn't do it at the weekend, so I moved it forward again. And this means catch up, because I'm obviously not getting to this anytime soon. So I marked it on my catch up list of I'll get to it at some point. And then when the week is done, I tick the box in the top corner, and then or when the page is done rather, because all I have to do to see if something needs to be finished is just quickly skim down this left-hand column. I don't need to read any of this. I just need to skip down this left-hand column to see if anything is marked as not done or half done. And then, because I don't need the page anymore, and because I don't write random notes in here, I just shove a bit of scrap paper over the top and use it to just write notes on. So then I go on to a collection. This is my currently page, and as you can see, I haven't really been using it. I currently, current things in my life, projects, keep in mind, on my mind. I would have put a waiting for list in there, but I've done that on the daily pages. And then I've got this also check section. So this is where I could have put everything in one spread, but I'm making more collections than I really need to. There's some more old daily pages with scrap paper on them for notes. This is books. I divided them into 10% chunks so that I can colour it in when I get to 10% of reading them, because I like to mark my progress to keep me motivated. This is a key for what the this right hand column annotations mean, and it's kind of handy for me to know what sections I've got elsewhere. So if it's an up arrow, then that means it's in another book, and it's handy for me to know what I've got in other books, like shopping list, wish list, my leathercraft section, or my leathercraft book. Some reference sections, so my mum's work times, bus timetable, important phone numbers, Muse Egyptology episodes, which is something that I haven't been getting to, which is really bad. More notes, and then this is a page I haven't stuck some notes over. Maybe I finished them or something. Catch up to-dos, which is kind of like someday maybe, but I hate the maybe part. I'm gonna get to them. It just might take me 10 years. And then this, I loved this, but it hasn't been working for me because I'm not working 9 to 5 Monday to Friday anymore, and COVID has just killed my structure to life. I love all of the planner spreads that I see in other planners, but they won't work for me because I don't have enough to write on them. I don't plan ahead in the week like that, although I should. So this was me basically using one of the spreads I like to plan out what happens on an average week. What do I need to get to on a Monday to Friday and then a weekend? And then this is sort of like categories to also address, and like maybe what to do for the next week or something, but I haven't really added much to it. Goals and resolutions for 2020. As you can see, stuff isn't really happening. The gym closed because of COVID, so I didn't finish Couch to 5K. I haven't been able to visit the Horny Man Museum in London. And yeah, depth year and low spend went out the window when I felt sorry for myself during COVID. So here is a routines tracker, which I put dates on, but I haven't actually used. I put dates on for August, so that shows that I haven't been doing that. It's just a sort of book of disappointment, really, because I haven't been doing it, because there's these huge gaps. Look, 13th of April to the 19th of May, and then even on the 19th of May, the only thing I wrote was that poor Daisy got bitten by a dog. And then fun projects, which is one of those spreads that I really should have put in the currently section, and ongoing to-dos are stuff like, yeah, I could have put them in the currently section. They're like the previous section, but they aren't fun. Well, some of them are fun, which is why I've put the pink dots next to them. Or some of them are like things I enjoy, not necessarily fun, but things that aren't too laborious. And then when I started working in admin again, so basically in the hospital we needed more cleaners, so I became a cleaner for 3.5 months, and then I went back to admin, and then I was working on not a regular rota anymore. I just couldn't cope with not having a monthly spread, so I drew in a monthly spread, and this is the first time I've used one in about a year, but I needed one for that next week prior to August starting, so I drew one on here, which isn't like me. I don't normally draw things on a monthly, on a one of these daily spreads. And then as you can see, I've got stuff that's unfinished on here, so it's me not feeling very motivated. Here is the August month, which is basically just me writing down my rota, and me maybe noting a couple of to-dos for forward planning, which that's a good purpose for this spread, but I haven't had much to plan. So yeah, not very interesting. And then I draw these 3 little boxes to help me to work out who's going to be home when. The dark blue, which looks like black here, is when both me and my mum are at home, and the light blue is when my mum is at home, and the pink there is when I'm at home, so that I know that I've got some time to myself, and that I've also got to do home, housework and look after the dogs. And then again, not much written. I mean, I've got huge gaps in this book. 20th of August to the 2nd of May, I didn't write anything. And then I even wrote down the day for last Wednesday, and I didn't actually write anything. So I'm not actually using the book, which I'm going to talk about in next video. Now I've done the month spread for September and filled in the current rota. I haven't got the rota from the 21st onwards. But one thing that I have been doing in this book, which has been working, is having a tipped in weekly spread, which has helped, because basically when I can't only use the daily spreads for forward planning for this current week, I printed off a simple week on one page with a notes column, and because I could fit it in a big chunky box for next week, and then I can go to what I used to use mostly, which was the yearly spread, where I wrote, you know, the things that I needed to do for upcoming dates. Oh, that's my tummy gurgling. It's nearly dinner time. So I could write these things into my weekly spread if there was anything, and then I could write my recurring tasks into my weekly spread. And that worked well for me until COVID hit and I didn't have the inclination to plan my life, because what's the point? All I'm doing is cleaning the hospital. But it was an important job, so I'm not complaining. It's just that I felt like that was 90% of my life. So I really do have to get back into planning. So as you can see, that's how I've been using my bullet journal, or not using my bullet journal. I chuck bits of paper in it. There's me trying to work out when to take annual leave and stuff like that. It's a useful book when I use it, but the problem is me. It's not the book. The system really works. This is something that I've been developing over a couple of years in my previous books and stuff, and it works. And I can improve it, and I could plan in fine detail if I was so inclined, but this isn't inspiring me to plan because it's not fun. So that's what my next video is going to be about, how I can make this fun. So thanks for watching, and I think I'm going to have dinner and then I will make another video hopefully today, or maybe I'll think about it a bit more and make it in a week or so, and tell you my plans for bullet journal 3.0 because I think I called this one 2.0, but no, that was the previous bullet journal. I wrote that on the introduction page, or whatever you call this, title page, bullet journal 2.0. Well, I'm planning a bullet journal 3.0 now. So thanks for watching. Bye.